What's up, everybody? Reality Roommates here. Once again, nothing
Yes,
new.
sir.
Episode 18 and 19 will be reviewed. BB has been absolutely amazing lately, has been absolutely great TV, and we have a lot to
Yes,
discuss.
sir.
I am here with my other co host. Go ahead.
What's good, reality roommates? It's your boy Willie, man. We back at it with another episode, man.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy IV. Happy to be here. Let's get it.
Let's
Let's
get
get
it.
it.
Now, you guys already know we like to get right into the juice, so we will cut right into episode 18, being that Felicia, Izzy, and Sari are all squirming because Felicia and Izzy are on the block. And last episode, well, I was gonna say last episode was, but that's this episode because I'm thinking about 19, which we watched today. But essentially, Izzy, Sari, and Felicia are squirming, and they all have separate conversations with Cameron about their positioning in the game and how they can help Cameron, et cetera, et cetera. They all kind of really don't like Cameron, but they're putting on this facade like, oh, Cameron, we're friends, we really like you, da 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 da. But then they go in the diary room and they start chatting like they really don't like him, et cetera, et cetera. How do you guys feel about each conversation? If you guys even remember, because that was yesterday, but how do you guys feel about
A
each
little bit.
conversation and overall how Cameron is enjoying watching them squirm, even though Sari's not on the block? She's trying to still build a relationship with Cameron.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about that? Ivan, we'll actually go with you.
As far as the conversations go, it's kind of hilarious to see them back in the DR, literally just crapping on Cameron, but in his face, they got to play nice.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. Honestly, I did not like Cerise's game move there with trying to kiss up to Cameron. I feel like he kind of
Same.
knows what it is. I felt like that was a weakness in her part for not seeing that, like, him putting up your two biggest allies shows what type of time he's on. At this point, you just try to play it straight with him and not on some, I love you, Cam, and all this crap, because that stuff's out the window. He's not going to buy into that. So let's talk business. Maybe figure out a deal on, hey, how can I not be on this block? What information do you need, or something like that? Some kind of deal should have been
Agreed.
made. I felt like that was a bit sloppy on her part, but yeah, that's the only thing I saw from that angle
Okay.
with the conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that. To be honest, Suri was kissing up to Cameron, which was not needed whatsoever. He should have just been straightforward, kind of just like, how can I like prevent myself from getting on that block if somebody wins the veto? That's honestly the best way she should have gone with it. But I don't know, the kissing up thing, that wasn't. I don't know why she did that. And when it comes to Izzy and Felicia's way of, I guess, persuading Cameron, it was kind of unnecessary. You guys should already know, like, you guys just flipped on him. It kind of, y'all, they shouldn't even have, like, went to his room, in my opinion, to be honest. It's pretty much set in stone what he did. Like, yo, y'all are his target. So it's like, it should have just been game on from there instead of pleading to him.
Right?
Yeah, I completely agree with both statements. I think Felicia was the most straightforward in the terms of, like, she was saying, yo, you were a part of Red's, exiting as well, in a way. You guys were arguing, as well as same thing with Heisem. Like, yo, you played a part in that, so why in your speech you're over here acting like you're best pals with them when you were on Heisem, you were on the side of Heisem leaving, as well as you and Red were having arguments. So I do agree with you guys there. I do think Felicia
Mm-hmm.
was the more straight up one out of the two. The other two were kind of like trying to act nice. But moving on, let's talk about how Sari and Izzy actually had a one-on-one, a heart-to-heart. But the heart-to-heart, okay, so let's dissect this in two pieces. First, Izzy was discussing saying to Sari that she gets what Cameron's overall plan is, which is to essentially backdoor Sari, and she doesn't want that to happen, and that if she were to win the veto, she would not use it to save herself. She would keep the noms the same to squash his plans instead of saving herself. How do you guys feel about that, as well as the heart-to-heart that she had afterwards, about her confidence and how she doesn't really believe in herself and she wants to do these things in life, but at the same time, her confidence is very low. She doesn't think she can do it. She thinks she's weak, et cetera, et cetera. How do you guys feel about that? Willie, we'll actually start with you.
I think she was just talking straight out of emotion. I'm not gonna lie, because she just really loves Suri. Suri's basically like her mom in the house, so I think she was just simply saying it off of emotion. I think if my bad, if Izzy would have won that veto, she would have taken herself off. I feel like she's smart enough to realize, yo, that would be a dumb move. It was just straight emotional when she was saying that to Suri. But if she were to like if she did do something like that, that would have been insane. Like, what are you in the house for? It's like we're playing Big Brother. You have to play for yourself. No matter how much you respect the person, it's kind of just like you got to think about yourself. Like at the end of the day, that's how I feel about it.
What about you, Ivan?
For me, I actually feel the opposite of Willie. I actually believe that she wouldn't have used that veto on her if she won. This chick has been dedicated to the Fields family since day one, since she screamed to Jared, "That's your mom."
Yeah.
Didn't hear her. She is a hard down, and shout out to Sari calling her a member of the Fields family tonight. But yeah, I don't think she would have used it, which would have been a historical BB moment if she didn't. But yeah, I believe her hard down. And now, as far as the conversation they had, that honestly, I've been watching this game a long time, so I'm a little desensitized to, or whatever the word is, to some emotional moments, because I kind of know when BB is queuing up the little heartstring moments. But I'm not gonna lie, that one got me because I've been watching them on the feeds and on the show, and their bond. She really is hard down. Like, clearly this girl was a super stan of Sari before this even got set up in the house. So I really think that their relationship is beautiful. They really obviously really likes her, and it's awesome to see that she did accomplish something that she didn't think she could do. She made it onto the show. Since day one, I said she was one of my favorite people in the house, as far as just her outlandishness and craziness. So kudos to her for being on the show, and that definitely hit my heartstrings. And especially because by the time I was viewing the show, I kind of was already up on the feeds and knew that the tides had turned and she was in a bad spot. So it was like, dang.
Yeah. Yeah, it did hit. It did hit. I ain't gonna lie. Very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely completely agree. I do think, man, as soon as she said that she would save Sari rather than save herself by not using the veto, me and Willie started laughing. Like, what are you doing? Like, I get you're emotionally invested in this person, but you came here to win some cheese. Let's not forget that. I feel like, man,
can't forget that.
People just start forgetting. I feel like the only person not really forgetting that 100% is Corey. But man, we'll get into him a little later because he's definitely played his role within Big Brother lately. Yeah, Ansari, my bad, Ansari. Cannot forget Sari. But let's talk about
America.
What happened?
America too. For sure.
I feel like she's not really thinking about the game. She just doesn't like when people kind of are starting to rule over her, like a false god, like a false prophet. She's like, this is a false prophet. Why are you guys worshiping Sari? But
yeah, that's the only. Yeah, I agree.
To me, America's like, her mind's not on the money. It's more of just, that's a false prophet. Why are you guys worshiping it? But I digress, right? Veto competition comes, and it's the dizzy spinball type game where you spin around in a chair, and then you have to throw up the pinball machine. You have to throw up your ball and then get a certain type of number. Whoever has the highest numbers within 3 rounds wins the power of veto. Each person does win a prize, and I kind of want to get into Matt's prize a little bit because I found that to be funny. But how do you guys feel about the competition itself, as well as Jared winning the veto? Willie, we'll start with you. Well, actually, I'll go give you guys some time to think. Let me give y'all some time to think. But
yeah,
when it comes to the competition itself, I found the competition to be interesting. This was a 2-hour episode. I do think they took a long time with the veto. It was an interesting veto competition. I was invested, but not too invested to the point where they spent about, to me, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the 2 hours on it. So I was like, wow. But overall, I wasn't too captivated by the competition itself. Now Jared winning, that to me was more exciting because it was like, man, Jared's really showing himself to be a competitor now. You know,
A
before it was kind of
competitor,
like
man.
it was like okay, Jared Fields. You know, he's kind of riding his mom's coattails, but it's like no, his mom's the brains and he's the bronze.
He's the bronze,
He's
yeah.
kind of actually complimenting her in a well way, and so yeah, I like Jared winning. That was to me the most exciting. Not so much the competition itself, but just Jared winning. But Willie, what do you have to say about it?
I am a fan of Jared, so I was very excited that he won. So good for Jared. But when it comes for the competition, it was cool to watch. You know, it was a nice little like they got dizzy, then they have to like play like skee ball, I believe it's called, and like up the ramp and throw it up. That was pretty cool. It's kind of luck, I guess, because you're dizzy either way, so you're kind of just launching it. So I guess that was cool. Honestly, I just really love how the competition was long and we kind of got to get more personality out of them, especially since the competition was like 30 minutes long and they kept like flashing to the diary room and then the competition. Kind of got more personality out of the house guests, which I really like. Um, but yeah, the competition, it seemed like a real hard one. You know, they looked very dizzy. Felicia fell a couple times, and even at the end, she looked like she was just gassed out. She was like laying and then asking for room for air and all that. So it looked like a little hard competition, but yeah, that's how I felt about that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was concerned for um
Felicia.
Felicia. Yeah, I was concerned for Felicia when she like fell over and she was dizzy and all that. Yeah, it was looking serious.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I liked the comp. I thought it was cool, especially the fact that it's like, it's all about balancing. Who could, it's balance and strength. So your equilibrium's got to be right. So it was an interesting comp in that regard. I thought Izzy, judging on the comp, I thought Izzy would have done well. So that surprised me. But at the same time, Matt could have won the comp. Really, it's just he literally thought he was going to get a real prize out of the comp by hanging out with the guy, Josh Duhamel or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hilarious to see Matt kind of fall for that when, yeah, if you've watched BB before, you already know what time it is. It's a punishment,
Oh yeah, I
So
forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that to me was a funny part.
for not taking the veto, because it might be a very different week if that would have happened. But Jared is proving to be clutch. He's proving to be, I guess, and it's interesting that this season it's been the story of comp beasts, because you had
Yeah.
Heist going crazy, then you had Cameron with the clutch wins when he needed to win, and now you got Jared.
Yeah, which we will
Yeah.
expand upon a little bit later. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about how both of you guys feel about the kayak situation, the punishments after the veto? The kayak, which was Felicia and Sari being both stuck in a
Yeah.
kayak, and then Cameron and Izzy being in pig costumes. How do you guys feel about that? Me personally, I kind of thought it was fun, it was cute, it was filler, but I do know maybe I missed this part consciously, but I know there was some game being played. Ivan, you said you kind of have some things to say about this.
Yeah, so one, I do enjoy when BB pulls out these little costume things and the punishments and whatnot.
Yeah.
It makes BB, like Big Brother wouldn't be Big Brother without these little added pieces.
For
So
sure.
in it. But yeah, this particular one did affect this game. And why that is because Sari was now attached at the hip with Felicia this whole time. They had to go out in the kayak and do all that and move around together. So she couldn't do the normal thing that she typically does throughout the week, which is, they start getting messy, stirring the pot and making their little fake alliances and just having the game upside down. And because of the way her style of play that she was doing, it created a atmosphere where people, they wouldn't really they would talk to each other, but when it came to game, Sari was always in those rooms. So now Sari's always kind of steering the game too, where she wants it. with her out of the equation, certain people were talking that don't usually chit chat about game, and it just started spiraling. And then also you had my man Jared. I felt like, unfortunately, he had a little too much dip on his chip after he won the veto, because then what's that guy's name? Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron, Cameron doesn't know that obviously the Jared is the son of Suri, so he's spilling all this crap to Jared about how he's going to put Suri up and all this junk. So now Jared is trying to play cleanup, but I think he gave out a little too much info to Cam.
He did, for sure.
Put this person up, because now all this kind of got spun back, So I think if Suri was still shaking and moving, he could have had a conversation with her maybe, and then that would have stopped. Because the issue is Suri, Jared, and them, they wanted Felicia to go home. But Suri can't game about Felicia's demise when I'm attached to Felicia.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, it caused this whole thing to start spiraling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree on that same point when you brought up Felicia and Suri. Like, Suri couldn't really do her Suri things and manipulate people and all that with Felicia right next to her. So I really liked that part of the kayak. But when it came to the Izzy and Cameron, when they had to like fill up the dirt to the other side, I feel like that was low-key brutal. I'm not gonna lie. They had to make like 2,000 trips. And like they hate each other, one. Yeah. And then two, like all those trips is crazy. Like that 2,000 back and forth, filling up a cup and going back and forth. I feel like that was creative on BB's end and brutal because, man, I don't think I would have been able to do it.
Man, what you said about Jared not being or Jared giving too much information to Cameron, I found that to be interesting because when I was watching it, I don't know if I just passively was watching that moment because I thought he was kind of in the clear. He kind of made it seem like, everything's all right. But then we did find out later on that Cameron, leading to episode 19 actually, well, first, Jared does not use the veto. Let's start there, right?
Yeah.
But going into episode 19, Cameron actually has a discussion with America about how essentially she really wants Izzy to go home and she wants to flip the house from Felicia, which Suri wants to go home, to Izzy because she feels like Izzy's more of a competitor. She sits down, she has a heart-to-heart, or not heart-to-heart, but a conversation with Cameron, and Cameron essentially starts to see, or she exposes the whole thing about how Jared was the reason why Red was mad at him and Red knew the way Red moved. Cameron started to realize why, and it started to be eye-opening that he couldn't trust Jared. And that moment to me was very significant because it shows the place that America is trying to seed herself in and exactly how she's trying to execute within these next couple of weeks. We see America really try to play Big Brother essentially, and I honestly think she has the most balls out of everyone right now because she's
sure.
Well, Cameron did his thing too, but just seeing her, America, you think she's really in love with Corey and only worried about that. I like the fact that she's kind of mad at Suri. She kind of wants to get out these big players. It's really showing that she's not just floating, because before she really was, and I did think she was a player who didn't think strategically. So now that she's actually talking to Cameron, I think it's very interesting, and I really like it. How do you guys feel about the whole conversation between America and Cameron about Jared, and overall Jared's kind of positioning in the game because of that? Ivan, we'll start with you.
America, I feel like it's kind of like a broke clock. It's right 2 times a day. So why I say she has been going because Corey's wishes was not for her to do that type of stuff, go and spill the cam and all this, but she has been doing this repeatedly. She's been spilling to people and it never worked. It would just get back to people and she would get in trouble, But time and actually, it's just this particular time it worked. And I think it's a domino effect from Suri being kind of unavailable. Now that domino effect actually worked this time. For her part, Smart play. She's been railing to go after the other side of the house for quite a while. It's been weeks. So smart
Yeah,
play. Playing the rat game. We've seen it work in the past. So I think that it is there's a win condition there. She can get to the end. She's got that ruthless edge. I mean, I didn't think that she'd be able to turn the likes of a Cameron or a Corey, and she's got these people wrapped around her finger a little bit.
Yeah.
So as these weeks go on, it's going to be interesting to see if she indeed holds on to this power that she's starting to, amass. Yeah.
Which I think she should.
And I think she might, because here's where, and this is why earlier when you said Corey's thinking about the money, I don't think that's the case. I think America, yeah, she wants to take down power structures and things like that. But I think she wants that taken down because she wants herself at that power structure so that she can get to the end. And I don't think Corey, his mindset, he's lost as far as like, this isn't going to get you to the win now, because after all the things that transpired last night, today, like, he is looking like, I got to put you up if the other side gets a win. He's looking like target number one. He might be a target over Cameron. And sitting nice, or at least a lot better than this. So I think Corey kind of got wrapped up in the moment, went with what his girl wanted finally, but we know what happens when showmances go up. Who goes home first?
The guys.
The male. The male every time.
Corey's in trouble.
Oh, Willie, before you go, I actually have a couple things to say before you go. So you said Corey is in trouble and he might go before Cameron, et cetera, et cetera. Honestly, I don't think so. I truly, truly don't think so. I think Cameron is still, although he can fall in the shadows, I think Cameron, yes, he made a mistake, but at the same time, this is one of the few times where listening to America, he got it right. Like he was able to flip and get Izzy out. It's just a matter of who tells Jared that this whole thing is because of Corey. Like Jag would, every single person would have to open their mouth and be like, Jag, America, what's his name, Matt. Like they'd have to open their mouth and tell Sari and tell Jared, yo, Corey's the one who convinced me. And the only person I see kind of doing that is Nicole, kind of like whispering in her ear, like, yo, they were trying to get you out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they know Jared is closely, like, so Jared's closely lined with Sari, so someone might start snitching, start telling. But overall, I think Corey'd be safe if no one opens their mouth. But then again, this is Big Brother, so everyone opens their mouth.
They definitely are going to start opening their mouth for real. They definitely will.
I have a rebuttal towards that, but we'll have to discuss in the spoiler section.
Okay, guys, if you guys want to, we are going to have a spoiler section in this episode, so stay tuned. We will give a spoiler warning before, but towards like the last 10 minutes, we're going to all talk spoiler, et cetera, so stay tuned for that. But let's digress. Willie, how'd you feel about America and her devious ways?
America's conversation, right?
Yeah.
Smart for her game, pointing that out, that Sari and that whole side is the power of the house. I feel like it was kind of common sense. It's kind of crazy that America was honestly the only one to really like call that out, which is crazy. But I think everything she told Cameron was smart for her game to go forward. Now, I really want to see if she's going to keep this level of like calling out and like kind of being the boss in a way. I'm very curious to see if she's going to carry that until the later weeks. I'm not going to lie, but I feel like it was a very productive conversation with Cameron, kind of just letting him know who's in power right now, or who's like the boss, the underground boss. I feel like that was really smart for her.
Yeah, got you. Now, speaking of America, we're going to continue on the whole America train. Let's get more deep into America putting the battery in Corey's back to start going to Jag, going to Matt, going to Nicole, getting all those votes to get out Izzy, because we do know Izzy did get eliminated. So how do you guys feel about Corey essentially being the driver behind getting Izzy eliminated, as well as Izzy's elimination overall, which will lead us into the best and worst position? But let's talk about mainly just Corey being the drive, the one to really push Izzy to get it. Is he getting evicted? Now, before you guys go, I mean, not before you guys go, but before you guys start saying your explanation on it.
Yep.
I would say this is the first time I've seen Corey actually drop his balls and, literally play Big Brother, because lately he's been very reserved, and I thought he would be way more aggressive than this. Just out the gate, just from first episode, I thought he'd be more aggressive, but he's playing the reserve role, which is kind of smart. And now he's starting to turn it up a notch, which I really like to see, as well as him manning up and finally kissing America. Just throwing that out there. But besides that, man, he's actually making moves, and he got Izzy out. The flip worked, and yeah. Lastly, I would also say America kind of just like. It was almost like she whispered in his ear, and then he just got to work. And then she just fall back in the shadows. So it's almost like, although she really likes Corey, some things that she says, if I was Corey and I rewatched that, I'd be like, man, she played me, bro. A lot of the things she's saying, because it seems like she really does like him. But at the same time, it's like it's like, but why are you saying, like a specific moment that I'm just now remembering? This is like a huge red flag to me. She was like, oh, yes, that's my man. You talking about to getting out Izzy? He was like, oh, yeah, that's my man. Talk dirty to me. Talk more about getting out Izzy. That's dirty talking to me. I was like, whoa, are you crazy? Like, it just sounds like manipulation. Like, wow. When she said that, I was like, man, America's cold-blooded, and I like to see when people play dirty in Big Brother, but not to my dog Corey.
She letting Corey get all the blood on his hands, basically.
Yeah,
kind of confronting.
Willie, how'd you feel about that? Just Corey being the pusher to getting out Izzy.
I as a fan of Corey, I feel like he was a little aggressive with it, and it's kind of painting him to be somebody who's like, I don't know, that you could look for to be the next target after somebody. Like it's kind of like he was very aggressive with it. He was trying to get down to like business, which it makes sense, because like if you put yourself in Corey's position, you realize, oh shoot, I'm not really where I was at. Like where I was at with like that side of the house, or like, dang, I'm being played. Like once you realize you're being played, you just start to panic, and we seen that. Like Corey was panicking, so I feel like he was making some brash decisions. I'm not gonna lie, kind of just getting down to like, yo, what is going on? Which it makes sense, but I feel like he overdid it. I'm not gonna lie, but it really does make sense. Like he was just very like, yo, what's going on? Like I'm not in the position that I was in, so I did get that. But I do feel like America kind of just well, I forgot what she said to him to even make him like do all this. What'd she say?
Okay, so I'm gonna fill in some of the blanks, because both of you guys said y'all don't really know why Corey kind of snapped so hard, but here's the fill-in. So what occurred is something was brought back to Izzy that Izzy did not like, and she heard something that America said. I don't remember the exacts on that, but she went to Corey and she told him like, yo, you're gonna have to stop sleeping in her bed next week, and we might have to just target her before we get Cameron out. This is what lit the match for Corey. This Izzy home. When she approached Corey on that, he got pissed.
Really?
Even people,
as he should.
Wow.
So that's what explains the aggression and all that, and that's why I said Corey's mind is not on this cheese, because and here's why I say that. The reason Izzy told him that, she approached him in that way, is because they were kind of building, and she alluded to this in her interview with Julie, they were kind of building like a little side alliance, because Izzy realized like, all right, at the end of the day, if I make it to final 3 with Jared and Sari, they're gonna take each other. They're mother and son by blood.
Yeah.
So what she was trying to do, which is a smart play, she was trying to keep Corey, and Corey was saying, keep America around as a result, so that they could be some weird kind of final 5 or final 6. I don't know who the other counterpart would be if it was 6, but you know, it'll be the Fields, Izzy, Corey, and America potentially, because they were trying to set up some kind of conditions where potentially Izzy saw, hey, maybe Corey could, like, leaving Corey around so that, because she knew Corey would be a little, you know, slimy like that. She figured Corey could be the one to take the shot at the Fields, and then I'm going to be around, and at least one of them can go, and maybe I'll go to the end with Sari or Jared or Corey or something like that. So she was trying to keep the man around, and they kind of would talk, and they had a bond. It wasn't a named alliance, but those two were kind of aligned. So that's why she felt comfortable enough, and this was what her fatal flaw was. She felt comfortable enough to be like, yo, we might have to target America next, from what I heard, from whatever America said that pissed her off, then you got to stop sleeping in her bed next week. I.e. saying, like, yo, you got to get that target off your back because we're about to make.
Yeah, you don't say that to the other half of the show, man.
But that's what people always forget in these situations, and I don't understand, because that's number one. If I was in a house, in a BB house, if I see you showmanced up, I already know. Under no circumstances are you willing to cut your showmance.
Yeah.
So, no circumstances am I ever going to tell you, hey, I'm gonna target your showmance, because then I'm public enemy number 1 to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even admitted that on the feeds last night. She was like, yeah, I messed up as soon as I had that blow up with Corey. That's what messed me up. She was saying that on the feeds last night. Like, damn, that sank my ship right there. And it literally did, because that gave him the motivation and the juice to now go spill to Matt and spill to Jag. And I mean, they literally created an Avengers last night.
Yeah.
It was Corey, Matt, Jag, Mimi. Like, I've heard you Mimi before. Mimi is brainwashed right now. She is on the side of corporate America. Man. Because Mimi's pissed because she thought Felicia would stay because of the brown sugar babes.
Yeah.
And Sari and them were talking about it like, oh, we're gonna have to tell Mimi like closer to eviction because she's gonna get her feelings hurt. So we'll just wait till the last minute to tell her that the vote is flipped to Izzy. So they told Mimi this because Corey had the keys to all this info, and he info dumped. Yeah.
So essentially, she felt like Sari and Felicia told her late.
Yeah, like,
but she already knew. She already knew.
Corey gave her the info before before Izzy and Sari could. So she felt like, oh, they're lying to me. Da da da. So when she voted and said what she said, she was directing that at the Sari and Izzy and Jared.
Man,
Miko's not no threat, man.
Corey, as soon as Mimi's not around, Corey, Matt, and America was like, yeah, we can't discuss any real information in front of Mimi. So Mimi is not even a real number for them. But like, she's a dispense number. Like, we're just going to use her for votes, but she's not really in the group.
Yeah. Nah, that makes sense.
Ooh.
Man, damn.
It's cutthroat right now. It's cutthroat.
Man, let all right. So let's actually lead this into who's in the best and worst positioning, because that's just perfectly placed. Willie, do you need time to think? Like, who do you think is in the best and worst?
The best positioning.
Unless Ivan, you got the juice, you want to keep going.
Well, I mean, we can't really say because we didn't, like, the episode didn't show who won HOH, so it'd kind of be like a spoiler.
No. Well, let's just go without the HOH, because even
who I thought was in the best positioning would be America.
Bowie Jane. Oh,
Bowie Jane. Comfortable.
Bowie Jane is
comfortable.
Man. Come on, bro.
But yeah,
Bowie Jane is gonna go down as one of the best floaters of all time.
we could go with Bowie Jane, but honestly, I feel like America is sitting pretty because even if who knows, the wrong person wins. She could go on the block, but I highly doubt she goes home over the likes of Ori, over a Cameron, over a Matt, over a Jag. She's not going home over these people, even though she is the one putting batteries in backs. But you got to take away her soldiers, and that's just how it goes for showmances. And that's why, fellas,
True.
if you're gonna get into a showmance, you better get into a showmance with somebody who's really gonna be good at the game. That's gonna win for you too.
Like a Janelle.
When you need something, yeah, you need to get a Janelle on your team.
But for me, I would say who's in the best positioning. Wait, did you say your worst position?
Oh, worst positioning would be, honestly, and because we don't know, we're not talking about the HOH right now. So without HOH thought of, I have to give it to two different people because it just depends on how things go. Suri definitely is number one in the worst position.
I agree.
Yeah.
She literally has the whole house against her other than her son.
Yeah.
I think literally, yeah, it's the Fields versus everybody. And
well, Felicia too, but Felicia and
we don't know where Felicia's going to fall because, I mean, think about it. Suri wanted you to go home this week. Are you really going to cozy up next to Suri now? Don't know.
I think she still will because she doesn't have any other number.
Well, unless they brainwash her like they did Mimi. Who knows?
True.
So Suri's in a really bad place. And, you know, she's going to have to rely on Jared. Jared's going to have to rely on her. But we know how Big Brother goes. Nobody wins back-to-back weeks for the rest of the game. So you're going to have to make some allies. And I guess if Suri could survive for the next few weeks, especially we got a double eviction coming, then we're really going to see if she is truly the GOAT like they say she is. Mm-hmm. And then my person that's in a bad position from the opposite side of things, I have to say Corey. You're looking like, once you put that crown on your head, that's why I always say I want to be a prince, not a king, because kings get killed. You put that crown on your head, you're showing everyone, I am the leader of this opposition. When the other side, you're top dog that we got to cut.
Yep.
And he's looking like the brains of the operation.
Even though it's America.
Right.
Which is crazy. But for my best and worst, for my best, without acknowledging the HOH, I would have to say the best position. Man.
Don't mess it up. He's going to say something crazy.
No, I would honestly say Mimi still, because she's not involved in anything. She can really play both sides depending on who wins. So
amazing floater, man.
So to me, she's definitely in the best position, even more than Bowie Jane, because Bowie Jane could easily just be like a pawn who ends up going home. But Mimi, I don't see getting up on the block at all. And now the worst position, I would have to say, is Suri. I think the main mistake she's making, and that she made that we saw with this episode, is she's playing like Derek, except Derek didn't have that many alliances. It's not like Derek was like, I think he had great friendships. You know, he had people who liked him a lot, but he didn't invest in them enough to the point where they had a whole alliance. I feel like Suri, and this is a mistake that I found that she was making early on, but I was like, man, are these people really going to catch it? But then I remember it. If you create so many alliances, you always get caught. At some point, there's a crossroads where it's like, wait, you're in alliance with her too, and then it just all starts to crumble, and you're trying to build an empire, and then it crumbles because everyone's realizing that they're working for you, and they want to build their own empire. So they're like, okay, I'm just going to tear this building down. And that's exactly what happened with Suri. It was just a matter of time. It was going to happen. It's just a matter of time of when, and hopefully it could be top 5 when it happened, or top 7 when it happened, and then she could recover. But there's too many people for her to like. I mean, granted, she could make some alliances again. She could rebuild relationships, but it's definitely going to be tough.
That's going to be tough.
She went from the best player, like being the best player, to public enemy number 1 in just like 1 week, because a lot of talks happened and she got exposed. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's my best and worst. Willie, what's yours?
Best position. I gotta go with the two biggest floaters in the house. Bowie Jane and Meek Cole. I feel like nobody would waste a week on putting them on the block or even thinking about taking them out. I feel like if you do that, your head's not in the game. They're two floaters that won't win comps, if we're gonna be honest, and I feel like they have the least amount of attention on them. But when it goes to the worst positioning in the house, Suri, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Suri, man, she has to win this HOH. Other than that, she's man not gonna look good for her. And same thing with Jared. But like
Yeah.
her and Jared, they're public enemy number one, public enemy number two. So they got to hustle in this HOH competition.
100%. And guys, that's mainly our picks for best and worst and our overall breakdown of episode 18 and 19. But now is the spoiler talk. So we are
Spoiler
done
time.
talking about the regular BB and non-spoilers. So if you want to know spoilers, stick around. If you don't, we're done with you. You guys could leave and wait till
Yeah,
the next
give them some
episode
time. Give them
for
some
us
time to
for
scroll
another
on.
breakdown. But we're gonna get into spoilers. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're here, you're watching the spoilers. Let's get into the HOH spoiler because that's really the main thing that we're gonna talk about. HOH
Yep.
competition just finished a couple hours ago, right after the live eviction. It was the wall challenge, which I love. I love that wall challenge. Usually, a short or a lightweight person usually wins this competition. And I honestly
Yeah.
thought it was going to be me, Cole, or Corey, kind of a
Or
lighter figure, or
America.
America. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. It is the chubby-handed bandit who's starting to become clutch,
There it
Jared.
is.
Jared Fields
Holy-
wins. So how
The
do you
black
guys feel about Jared Fields
Man,
winning?
Jared.
I would say when I first found out that Jared Fields won, I was like, wow, this man's turning into a competition beast, for one. 2, he's carrying his mom currently because right now she's about to drown.
There's no carrying going on.
She's
I
about
feel like
to-
it's
she's-
equal. It's equal now.
It's
It's equal now.
Okay,
There's
you
no.
could say it's equal.
Yeah.
She was about to drown if anyone else won, and he
Yeah.
came up clutch. And I think this is a perfect time to win because now he could really see who's for him and force it out of them. Like, okay, who's for me, who's not for me, and that makes Corey in hot water if people start chirping. So, how do you guys feel about Jared Fields clutching out this win? Ivan, we'll start with you. Actually, Willie, go ahead, and then Ivan, I know you got to break down this whole thing down. So, Willie, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Jared's gonna be like, who's for me, who's not. And I feel like Jag's gonna squeal like a pig. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you." You're gonna give him the information he needs for sure. I feel like Jag will. Matt as well. I feel like Matt's gonna start chirping. He's gonna go, maybe we should work together. You know how it be. But like Jared winning though, man, wow, clutch, amazing, clutch, so clutch. Like that's so clutch for him and Suri, man. I'm very excited as somebody who wants Jared to go very far in this game. I'm very excited for Jared, man. I'm not gonna lie. Wow.
Absolutely.
Very excited to see who he's even gonna put on the block. Very excited, man. I don't know.
Absolutely.
This is a super clutch. This is one of the this brings me back, okay, to BB6 moments when Janelle will just win when she needed to, win a HOH randomly, especially the week after. This reminds me of the week where Kaser goes home for the second time after the pressure cooker. And Janelle back to him, sends him home. Then who won right after that? Janelle, and sends Jennifer home. This is that vibe it gives me where it's like eye for an eye.
Yeah.
So I pray he makes a smart move, put Corey in America up, send Corey home. He's got to go. The boy did not become a man on the show. He got to go. He got to go.
Yeah.
And here's what I love, too. What I love about this is the next two people that goes home, because we know there's a double eviction coming. The next people that go home, guess what? Y'all not even jury members. You got to go back to the streets.
When is
So-
jury? When is jury?
After the two.
Yeah, Julie announced that they're going back to the old school jury instead of 9 people. It's instead of 9 people, it's 7 people now, like the old days.
Wow.
Mhm.
Why less?
When I go home next week, they're going back to the streets, not jury.
Why less?
Eesh.
I'm not sure. I mean, it probably costs money to like house 9 people,
Yeah.
So they're probably why house them. This is the longest season ever, so they probably had to cut some financial corners, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. I mean,
So,
9 is a lot of people though,
facts.
and it's like you're awarding 9 people to jury. Like, I think it should 7 is more prestigious. It's like, wow, you made it to top 7 in a hard ass game, you know.
And they get a check.
Yeah.
Once you make it to jury, you like make some more money. Like, it's I don't know the exact amounts, around somewhere around 12 to like it's under. I think it's under 20 G's, but it's like 12,000 or something where you get that. So that's why a lot of people are like, oh, I just want to make it to jury.
Shoot, I'd want to make it to jury too, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I
20
want a
bands.
game.
Oh yeah, for sure. But if I get snipped at jury, hey, bro, it's cool with me. 20 bands.
I need to be
So
sitting in the top 2 seats.
I honestly just love the fact that Jared got this, and he's sending one of those Judases home with nothing. I love it. Somebody's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. Jared winning, it definitely got me excited because I love the back and forth of this season. It's not just one powerhouse. It's like we see Cameron coming up, winning clutch. Jared coming up, winning clutch. Even Felicia, when she won, I wouldn't call it super clutch, but she made a big move getting out Heisum. Like, we're starting to see it's not just usual BB where it's like one side powerhouses and then like there's probably one nail that pokes up and then like stops them, but then they overcome it and it's like really tit for tat. This is one of the best seasons that's happened in the last couple of years. The past 3 seasons of Big Brother have been absolutely great, including this one. So it's been amazing. And yeah, man, any other last thoughts before we close out?
Yeah, I have a few. Okay, so remember I said I had a rebuttal towards your Corey thing.
Yeah.
Because I believe that he would be like the face of it. But so today on the feeds, Corey and Jared had a very, and I mean very like loud argument where they had a meeting basically, and it was Sari in the room, Jag was in the room, Matt was in the room, Bowie Jane was in the room, and then Jared and Corey were literally sitting next to each other, screaming at each other.
Really?
Yeah, and they were both like trying to call each other out. Corey's literally out loud calling him out for his lies and shit like that. So it's like there is no way that Jared doesn't know. Like Corey can't slither. Like there's no slithering. Like you confronted that man face to face in front of others, shouting and all that. Like, bro, I gotta send that. If I'm Jared, unless this man's in space, I am not worried about Cameron right now.
Yeah.
Make a deal. Cameron, he's shown since he sold out Riley and that group early on, he's shown, he's a slime ball. He will make a deal with anyone as long as he stays in the house another week, which I love about Cameron. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Love Cameron's ridiculous snake ways. Like, it's beautiful to watch in this BB game. But that's why I feel like, you pull up Cameron, you make a deal with this guy. Okay? I'm not putting you up. If you win next week, you leave me alone. Like, I don't want to target you. I respect what you did. You did what you had. You stood on business.
Yeah.
I need Corey to go home. Put him up.
Man, that's difficult because I Corey is someone I chose. Man, but it's gonna be interesting. I definitely want to see the argument that they had.
It was wild.
if it was like what you're saying, like,
wow.
Was it like what's her name? Man, the one who was dating Swaggy C.
Yeah, it was
Bailey.
Everyone on Twitter was saying like, "Wow, this is like the biggest argument in the house since like the Bailey and
Christmas." I'm pretty sure it was Christmas.
Yeah, Bailey and Christmas thing. It was the biggest one since that.
Wow. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that, and that must have.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the male ego. We're males. You gonna challenge me like that? I'm putting you up. You gotta go home.
And this is before the HOH competition.
Yeah.
So wow. So like Jared went into that like I'm winning.
Yes.
Corey's probably crying right now, bro.
Wow.
Corey's panicking.
Yeah.
Corey is panicking. I want to see his diary room.
That was a black
videos or whatever, bro.
This was a clutch, very clutch move. And shout out to Twitter, man. They all were talking so crazy that, oh, America's going to win the wall comp. She's small. She can win the wall. Over for that. It's over for that.
Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. I even had a person come up to me and say, like, that we were kind of choosing on who we thought would win the competition. I said Corey, but, man, and he said America, so it's very interesting to see what Jared does. I do look forward to seeing that argument because it's definitely going to play, of course, obviously. But yeah, we'll see that on Sunday. The new time, by the way, guys, for Big Brother is Wednesdays 8 p.m., Thursdays 8 p.m., and then Sundays is 10:30 p.m., which is really
crazy.
But it's in flux because we got football season now, so Sundays might be a different time every week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But man, wow! Any other closing thoughts before we close out?
My closing thought is I just think that we may end up with, and this is my little small prediction. I think this year we're going to end up with an America win or a Cameron win because everybody's shooting at.
Yeah. Everyone, it's a bloody bath, and people are going to get hit by strays. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Man, it's crazy how things change in just 1 week. Like Cameron from Public Enemy #1, Sari being non-existent in everybody's radars to it just completely flipping. It's crazy to see how 1 week can really change all. But once again, another week could change everything again. So who knows what will be in the next week when it comes to Big Brother and what positions people are in. But let us know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let us know. We'll be answering back to every single comment as usual. And yeah, we will be reviewing every single Big Brother this season. We're getting closer and closer to the end. We're about to reach the juries real soon. Yeah, man. Click the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already. And we are Reality Roommates. We are out. Peace.